Today's collectible spot, we're having a look at the new Square Enix PlayArts Kai Batman Arkham City No.5 Harley Quinn. Really was looking forward to picking this one up. I had picked up a couple of the Harley Quinns before, now not necessarily from PlayArts Kai, but I had picked up some of the Harley Quinns from DC Direct, and this particular Harley was a good figure, but I found it was just lacking something. I don't know what it was, but it was just missing something. And then also the Mattel also released their version of the Harley in, I guess you would consider this the street attire. And again, it was just missing something. So I was really hoping to get a really decent version of Harley from Arkham City. And then here comes PlayArts Kai. And when I saw the images of it, it was definitely a figure I wanted to pick up. She was released alongside Poison Ivy. Spot picked up both of these. And actually I got these from the good folks over at Super Power Collectibles. Usually whenever lately I've been picking up stuff, I always tend to go to them first for picking up stuff. Speaking of which, though, the good folks over at Super Power Collectibles right now have a coupon code. I'm going to provide that down below along with the link to their store, so if you guys want to save a little extra money, certainly click the link and check that out what they've got. Needless to say, on the back of the package there's a picture of the figure, No.5 Harley Quinn. Collect all figures in this series. There's over 26 points of articulation. Featured on the side, No.6 Poison Ivy, which I will be reviewing as well. To check out more from also the good folks over at Square Enix, you can go to www.square-enix.shop.com. You can also open up the box, and featured on the side is the figure, which I'll get into later when we get the figure opened up. A nice picture of Harley Quinn on the side here with the read-up, a femme fatale born from a mad love. And I like how they reference that to the old Batman animated series episode. I love that. Harley Quinn is the self-proclaimed girlfriend of Batman's arch-nemesis, the Joker. Formerly a psychiatrist, she grew attached to the Joker over the course of her counseling sessions with him. She had fallen so madly in love with him that she changed the way she looks to complement his appearance. Harley constantly worries about the Joker's well-being and fights alongside him as his right-hand woman. Down below, Arkham City, a dark city where criminals swarm. Within the perimeters of Gotham City lies Arkham City. Since the election of a new mayor, the whole area has been turned into one big prison, and convicts that were contained in a psychiatric hospital, doubling as prison facility, Arkham Asylum, of which this mayor was a former warden, were moved there. The area is an abundant spread of land, and the criminals have free reign as long as they don't try to escape Arkham City. Once again, evil has swarmed the town tonight. What I am going to do is take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the PlayArts Kai Batman Arkham City No.5 Harley Quinn. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Before we have a look at the figure, Harley did come with a clear display base, the exact same display base we've gotten with the Dark Knight Trilogy figures, and I think also Poison Ivy is going to come with it as well. Spot didn't just put it together. It's still in the box. Until I actually find a place where I want to put these on display, I just didn't bother to put it together. But it is exactly the same display base as we've gotten with the others. So if you've seen the reviews I've done of Bane and Batman and Catwoman, it's the exact same display base. Whether she needs the display base, I would say possibly, because she does have the same issue, not as bad as the Catwoman from the Dark Knight, but she does have the problem with that she's got very, very small ankles. So sometimes getting her to stand properly, you might need the display base. So I'm happy that at least Square Enix did include one with the release of these figures. Now, having a look at the figure, first of all, the face on her is really nice. I like that there's a certain innocence to the figure's face, while also that bit of mischievous. You can tell that she's definitely either done something or she's planning on doing something, and it comes across again as that slight bit of innocence, but you know that she's up to no good. That is such a great face on her. As I mentioned with before the figure got opened up, Mattel had released her through the Batman Legacy line, if I'm not mistaken. It might have actually been through just the Arkham City line. DC Direct has also released her as well. But I mean, in both cases, there's always been something slightly off I found on that figure. And the face either was just too round or like just the sculpt on it was just off slightly. I think of the three, I think Square Enix has nailed it the best. She's got this really like narrow face, which I think works really, really well. She's got a very, very fine nose, which almost isn't getting picked up on camera here just because of the fact that her face is all solid white. But she's got really fine features, and I found that was the problem with the other Harleys, was the face. The face just seemed off. The dark eyes as well works really well. Also, the paint in the hair looks like it's still wet. It's such a nice touch. On the back, there's the just sculpt on the back of the head there. Now, I don't know how fragile these are going to be. I know there's been issues with the other Harleys where like ponytails and stuff have broken off, but I think they're pretty solid on here where you're not going to have too much of an issue with the Harley. Shading and everything is done really well. I mean, aside from the pale face, because she has a much paler face, she's got the nice flesh tone in the upper torso, right around here, of course, and then in the arms. Really nice detail. I think they probably went a little crazy on the chest section there. It's perhaps a little larger than what Harley really is, but I gotta say, like Square Enix, when the Play Arts Kai figures are done, sometimes the male figures get a little too bulky with joints. But I find the one thing they're really good at is when it comes to female molds. Having just reviewed Catwoman, which I don't know if I'm going to try to get up before this one, but I was really impressed with the fact that she still kept a lot of the same articulation that the larger male figures had, but still remained very feminine in design. Harley here benefits from the fact that she has lots of articulation, but still she comes across very feminine. She doesn't look blocky. She doesn't look too over proportioned to compensate for the fact that she's got to have certain joints in her arms, like perhaps Bane had. But I think she works really, really well. The paint is also done exceptionally well too. I don't see a lot of issues of bleeding. I mean, just the amalgamation of the even in like areas like the dark, areas where there should be just solid black, they've done this nice lighter wash. So it kind of just either looks worn or it looks like there's lighting on there. There's a little bit of shade going on in the red here. And just just overall, like the detailing of the different versions, different colors of paint that they've incorporated also into the bust section, it's done really well. And I'm very, very impressed with it. Areas such as even like the belt straps could have easily been overlooked, where like even the buckles and stuff like that could have been left black and you might not have even noticed it. But again, they incorporated it, and I like that. Really, really top-notch job. You may or may not see it down below, but she's got the tattoo of the Joker card there. Really nice work there. She's also got a similar tattoo on her arm too, featuring Joker with some flowers and Joker card there. You can even see on the back, she's got a little bit, that's interesting, I didn't even notice it till now. If you move her waist ever so slightly, you can see like the top of what looks to be her, I guess her underwear. But I mean, that's something that, it didn't even have to be there. But the fact that even just to move it slightly, you can see it. And I think that's a really nice touch. Just those little added details really make a figure work well. She does come with several different accessories. She comes with 2 alternate hands, Now, one hand, let's just zoom the camera in here for a second. One hand, you've kind of got like a, I guess more of just an open hand. This one looks like it's more designed for the triggers of the, or the triggers when she's holding the guns here. She comes with a couple of, I'm not even going to know the correct name for these guns. It's just Uzis or like semi-automatic handguns. To remove the hands, you just want to, I always wiggle it, because I mean these pegs are always so fine. I mean, I'm even looking at this peg now, and I'm just trying to decipher how that peg rotates. And see right there? Because the last thing you want to do, the very last thing you want to do is start rotating these the wrong way, and then, you know, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to swap out and put in the other hand. But you can see that I don't like how fine that joint is. Now some would say, well, it may not be that big of an issue. You may never have that joint break off. But I always tend to stand on the side of caution, really. Now this other hand is the same idea. She does have the alternate trigger hand. She does also have a very large, impressive baseball bat. I'm just going to lie her down for a second. I like, too, that not only is it just a standard baseball bat, with some nice detailing on it, but there's dents, indicating that she's used it on somebody. Batman, perhaps? I don't know. But I love that. And I'm trying to even remember whether the DC Direct or the Mattel had bats that had that indentation. That is a nice touch. Although she doesn't really hold it, so I'm wondering if maybe I'm going to swap out the other hand on this one too. Like so. I'm wondering if this hand is better suited for the bat. And it might, I think it might be. Yeah, I think these hands are better suited not only for the handguns, but also for the bat. I think these hands are just way too open that the bat won't sit properly in. Speaking of which, speaking of her handguns here, let's get those in her hand here. Because I might easily just have her displayed with those handguns instead. Being ever so careful. And just a little finessing, you can get her holding both machine guns. Looking very nice indeed. That's probably how I'm going to have her displayed, is with both handguns. Now unfortunately, let me just move it into camera. The tip, as I was trying to get the Uzi, the handgun on, the tip broke off. So I'll just have to glue that back into place. It's not too big of a deal, but I am disappointed in the fact that that broke off. So there was one casualty, at least not to Harley, but to the poor handgun. But yeah, I'm going to totally have her displayed, probably with the both handguns instead of the bat. That's a nice look for her. I'm just going to take these out of her hand before we do any more damage. In the way of her articulation, Harley Quinn has a really nice ball joint in the head. You can get her to tip the head back and forth, rotate back and forth as well, up and down. Her waist is on a ball joint, or really her upper torso is on a ball joint. She has a swiveled, slight ball joint in the lower torso, which we had discussed earlier. Her arms are on a pin socket, so they move out. It doesn't look like she's got the separation. Oh, yes, she does. Never mind. Yes, she does. This one was just a little bit stiffer. So she does have the rotation in the shoulder, but then also the rotation in the shoulder itself, the actual arm section. She does have a bend in the elbow, which, again, if you weren't careful, you see Spot almost did that. I had to rotate the arm to properly bend it. It does also rotate. She has a rotation and hinge in the hand, like so. And then when it gets to the legs, Harley Quinn's legs go forward, back, out. Not well though, but out. She does have a bend, a double bend in the knee. I should say she rotates in the thigh as well. And then she also has a hinge and rotation in the foot. I'm overall happy. I'm not happy with the fact that unfortunately the gun broke off, so I would say be a little cautious when you're putting this in her hand, that don't apply any pressure to the ends of those guns because they may break off. But overall, I'm happy with this figure. It really wasn't going to be starting as a figure I was going to pick up initially, but I think the more I saw of her, the happier I was getting by her release. And then when she finally was released, picking her up and having her in hand, I'm very happy that I did buy her. Again, I'm going to provide the link down below to Super Power Collectibles, so if you would like to pick up Harley yourself, and certainly Poison Ivy as well, which I will be reviewing too, definitely click the link down below and use the coupon code. You can save a little bit of this. Today's collectible spot, we're having a look at the Play Arts Kai, Arkham City. We're looking today at Harley Quinn. A really good figure. If you're a Harley fan, you should probably want to pick it up. Certainly stick around, guys. Spot's got the review of Poison Ivy right around the corner. I'll see you guys next time.